Let's talk about failure. Santa Inc. and Netflix Cowboy Bebop are complete failures. And I want to talk about that for a second. As you can see, Santa Inc. getting closer and closer to 200,000 dislikes. That's for a reason. It's because it's a terrible and awful show. Most people agree, don't mess with Christmas. And that's what they decided to do here. And it blew up in HBO Max's face. Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman tried to do the tired and true method of labeling everybody that doesn't like it as an istophobe. For once, that's actually not working. Usually that'll work, and the media will jump all over it and call you trash and say that you're a bigot for not liking the show. For once, that hasn't happened. Probably because they're afraid to review the show themselves because they know that they're not going to give it a good score because it's just an awful show. And because of that, they've decided to just stay quiet about it. Seth Rogen hasn't really had anybody run to his defense. Even in the articles that talk about what Seth Rogen said, they kind of call him out a little bit and say, yeah, I think people just don't like Christmas being messed with. As much as these crazy far leftists want to get rid of Christmas and replace it with maybe a state-run holiday, which is what they'd like to do. Maybe some kind of holiday for BLM or something. BLM-miss. We'll replace it with that. I don't know. Antifa-miss. Maybe it'll be something like that. So get rid of Christmas, get a state-run holiday in there, and that would delight them. So they take little pot shots at it. There's a couple of articles up right now about how bad Christmas is. And then, of course, the annual we don't want to see our family tweets on Christmas. That's coming up soon, too. So, you know, this is their wet dream, Santa Inc., but it's just not taking off. Maybe in a couple of years. But then we have Cowboy Bebop, another failed show. The writer of the show is speaking out. Very upset, claims we're missing out. This show, in some ways, is an even bigger disaster than Santa Inc. because Netflix outright came out and said, we're done with the show. Which is really surprising to me because, like I said in a previous video, I'm kind of shocked about this because, like I said, I've been checking the Netflix top 10s, and the show was like in the top 10 for almost 2 weeks. Which means maybe a lot of people were checking out and then jumped ship. Or people watched the first episode and jumped ship. Like, we don't know. We'll never see the details of what's going on with this show. But there's a reason the show sucks ass. One of the writers, the writer in this, I think the head writer, I'm not sure, has revolutionary leftism and stuff in their profile on Twitter, all of the typical tags that you would expect from a far left person. And they're claiming we're missing out. Well, considering a lot of the animated material was used up in season 1, I would guess that a lot of this season 2, would have been fan fiction. So you already know how horrible that would have been. But let's take a look at these tweets. Don't bother anybody in these tweets, please, by the way, either. Leave everybody alone. We're just going over what the writer of Cowboy Bebop is saying. Well, let me rephrase that. The writer of Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, not to be confused with the original anime that people actually love and adore. So let's take a look. Not to rub it in your faces, but the individual who has read the Cowboy Bebop Season 2 scripts more than anyone else in the world, you are missing out. My dear troll friends, you do realize that literally hundreds of people lost their jobs today, right? Jobs we loved and cared about. We're going to be emotional also. Most of us found out today with the public. Well, here's the problem. Maybe you should have wrote a better show. It's not charity to keep shows going unless you're Batwoman. Batwoman for somehow gets to keep going. I do think that they're laundering money or something with that show. I don't know why they keep it around, other than maybe this ESG thing. That has to be the reason, because that show is awful and it gets to keep going. But as far as this show, what happened? Who do you have to blame for the failure of Cowboy Bebop? You have yourself to blame. And yes, I am going to celebrate the show closing down because I'm tired. I'm tired of these live action animes getting created when they never should have been made in the first place. All they want to do is subvert expectations, inject woke politics. I mean, look at Faye Valentine. There's never been a better example of just how shit live action anime is than looking at Faye Valentine. They covered her up from head to toe and completely changed the character. Here's a really good example of that. Anime version. Instead of feeling alone in a group, it's better to have real solitude all by yourself. Cartoon. Welcome to the ouch, MFers. Drastic differences in the character. This is not Faye Valentine right here. This is Faye Valentine. And I don't like seeing shows that I like get ruined like this. Most people don't. And most people don't want these live action remakes. But trying to say we should feel bad because a lot of people lost their jobs. The only people that really lost the job were the writers and the actors that are involved in it. The camera crew, everybody in the crew, they'll get to go on to another set and work. But at the end of the day, it's not our fault that the jobs were lost. It's your fault for not delivering a good product. I mean, this is every day in Hollywood. You delivered a failed product. It sucks. And you admit you injected woke politics into it. I mean, right here, the inspiration, the moment. So you were kind of asking for it when you did that. Why would you do that? You should know, like, no, anime fans don't want that. It's ridiculous. Just because you don't like the food at a restaurant doesn't mean you would celebrate when it closes down. You would mock the waiters or chefs. I beg of you to touch some grass and give someone you love a hug. People you disagree with politically, I highly doubt you would hug them. You would probably want them to end themselves. Radical far leftists are some of the meanest people I think that I've ever come across. But of course, what's funny about this is this person isn't blaming themselves for writing a horrible show, by the way. Blaming you in some aspects here. And yes, I'm going to celebrate the show being shut down because I don't want live action One Piece. I don't want live action Naruto. I don't want live action Gundam. I don't want any of these live action shows because they taint what's there. I don't want them. Nobody wants them. So there is a cause to celebrate for this show being shut down because it will likely give pause to doing more. And then it says, my entire life was turned upside down less than 12 hours ago, along with hundreds of my dearest peers. Consider having a goddamn ounce of compassion or empathy. Right. This is a person with revolutionary leftist in their profile. People that go and break windows, beat people with chains, jump people, attack them violently. Yeah, they're the most empathetic, caring, and loving people that I've ever met. These are the people that are writing these shows. That's who's writing these shows. So I don't feel bad. I'm glad this show got shut down. I'm glad this show got canceled. I'm glad Santa Inc. is likely canceled because these shows are awful. Awful. If you want to not get your show shut down, why don't you write something that doesn't demonize people? Why don't you write something that doesn't appeal to half the nation? And not even just half the nation, a segment of half the nation. Why don't you write something that appeals to everybody and not inject any agendas? That might help. And that might get people to actually like your shit. Just a thought. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel, usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.